Hello, this is my Arduino design challenge. So first off, we have two inputs, a potentiometer and a thermometer, a temperature sensor, and then a number of outputs, an LCD screen, piezo sensor, two normal LEDs, and then a LED RGB. The code looks a little something like this. We have a number of values created as well as pins set up, and it's pretty fun. The way it works is I mapped my potentiometer value to my temperature value, and so essentially, instead of going from 1 to 1023 like normal, now it goes from 1 to 124 to match the temperature sensor. And so I first set on my temperature sensor whatever value I want. This is essentially mimic an oven, and the potentiometer sensor mimics the hand on the oven that you turn to increase or decrease heat. And if it's bad, this is the first code. So if it's too low, then there's going to be a red light, a bad sound will play, and the LCD screen will say you got to increase the heat. It's not where you're trying to be at, as well as this RGB over here. This RGB LED is meant to demonstrate the increase of heat as the potentiometer spins, which is to demonstrate how the oven can heat up as I spin the handle. Unfortunately, there's no real way to increase here, like show a flame in Tinkercad. So that's the best I can do as a proof of concept. Whereas you can see clearly as I spin the potentiometer, the RGB will also clearly change colors to reflect that. Now the middle code, this is the good value. I gave a little bit of birth room, about 15 over or under, because it's very hard to get an exact value using a potentiometer. But essentially what it'll work is if you're in the right temperature, so if this temperature sensor matches this potentiometer, then the green light will light up. You'll have a good sound play, and the LCD screen will display good temperature, and then whatever the temp value that you have is. And then if it's too high, very similar to the other temp one where it's too low, except instead of saying on the LCD screen, hey, it's too low, it'll say, hey, it's too high, you got to decrease that. And then throughout, the RGB sensor will be lighting up and increasing its values across. So let's start it up. So right now I set my thermometer to, I don't know, 25. It doesn't like that. It's like increased temp. That's a bad noise, and this is my lowest potentiometer value for the RGB LED. So I'm saying this is like our low temp, right? It's too low. Let's move it up a bit. If I go to out here, let's check the results. Now it's good temp. So my oven is at the correct thing. We have a nice sound play from the piezo buzzer. We have our second value show up, and it's green. And then I go a little bit higher. And so now we're at blue hot. This is our highest LED RGB LED value. Obviously, it's saying decrease temperature on the LCD screen over here, and then we have a red light going. And so this is essentially the model in oven. And then also, let's say I walk away from the oven and it has a problem or some issue where it's too hot or too low. So anything inside is going to get burned, obviously, and we don't want that to happen. So this will alert the owner and tell them hey, you got to get back here. It's too hot. It's too cold. You got to fix this. It's you don't give your undercooked food, your overcooked food, all of that. So I'd say one design flaw, and this is obviously the RGB issue, where I really wanted to demonstrate that heat increase or decrease, but I just couldn't figure out a way to do that using Tinkercad, unfortunately. But other than that, it works exactly as intended, and it was pretty fun. So that is my design.